Good morning, Fiifi-Manfred. Today we are back again with all the news, all the analysis of what's Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. You don't get it any better. Trust me. In terms of football analysis channel, I'm a more consistent content now. So I'm out the best in terms of the analysis and the breakdown. It doesn't get any better. I'm Fiifi-Manfred. It's your best in terms of football tactical analysis on YouTube. Again, so subscribe to the channel. Now pause the video to subscribe to the channel and turn your notification. A very imperative part of your side so that consistently anytime we are content to drop and we are first to have it. Pause the video, subscribe to the channel, no, turn your notification in the notification turn no, make sure to be choose on. I'm missing sure baby say what the content and any link I share I'm for forum so many be I share. I've been seeing it being shared around. YouTube gives me the notification. Thank you very much. Say I'm okay when I'm share content and be come on. How Fiifi-Manfred will give you all the best. And now Saturday from Friday, big games across over Europe. Finally, this morning, you beat my Chelsea tactical analysis. We can enter into a bit more specific parts of the game. The mistake of William Saliba, my Chelsea equalizer. No? The mistake Chelsea go on consider component why mistake. I found the person and Robert Sanchez and Kwan will do the analysis of Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Who the baby I just say on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Need to stick and stay. They enjoy analysis now. But Enrana heartbreak. Heartbreak at the Montjuic. Barcelona for against Real Sociedad. A game where everybody believes that Barca could go in and then get the maximum results. In fact, given the fact that Madrid had won for the very first time in 2 successive weekends, in fact, in 3 successive weekends, although they didn't play against Valencia, but from the Clásico, Madrid didn't win here. Of course, that game against Internacional, AC Milan, so Kahome, now Barca didn't win here, and then they were going into this one. Barca wanted to increase the points gap and keep it at 6. Now Barca game plan, no. Yeah, my points gap then 6, and the final international break and right. So it was supposed to be business as usual. I want the Montjuic and a Barca core game. In fact, Barca core matching with very good preparation on the game plan on the core. Everything seemed to be solid. The plan going into it was one of the best. Barca echo matching. The plan was that they wanted to go and play some very good football, dominate the game, and then win it. In fact, after game, updated table after loss, Barca. Our 13 points. You see, also points gap and Madrid. The Barca, our 33 points. Madrid, our 27 points. Still 6 points and then down. Atletico de Madrid, our 26 points. Villarreal, 24. Sasuna, 21 points. Of course, after game, Barca LUC by a goal to 0. An excellent goal from the Real Sociedad. For Barca pushy at some point in time. Pau Victor Mubemu, Pedri, Gavi Mubemu, they played some good game. Of course, the biggest Frankie de Jong in a starting game, no FIFA, captain inside, no. But the biggest talking point of the game, the semi-automated VAR. It really Robert Lewandowski goal in the first half. And yet, ni boots nano pay. A lot of people don't serious, but boots nano pay. And he played. Abrantia, your friend Robert Lewandowski. Oh, they were thinking saying Robert Lewandowski boots, but maybe knife boots nano, knife boots nano, and almost making some mistake. And it was a huge mistake. And a Barca want to say, hey, they have been robbed. And we're not game of boy. So Barca were not happy. But of course, in the game, there was the absence of Abrantia friend Lamine Yamal. And Lamine at the stands him in the stands. Oh, they didn't get him. They wanted to get him. I said, Uti has a flick before the game. I said, we tried until the end with Lamine. We have to take care of him. He has problems with his ankle. We will be missing an important player. But in the end, we have another player in Femi who will come in and has also played well in games like that. It's a Barca game. Obviously, Abrantia friend Lamine Yamal was absent. And Barca went into that game prepared, making sure that they were going to go on and then win the game. So it was Enrique Peña, Pau Kubasi, Nigo Martinez, Alejandro Balde, and then forming part of the back 3, Jules Koundé making the back 4. Of course, in 5th one was Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and then Marc Casado, and Pedri as the base. So this time, he meant that Brandt and Hansi Flick had gotten one deep line playmaker in Frankie de Jong and a Marc Casado next to him to be the destroyer and then to close down and shield him anytime he is on the ball. And of course, Pedri Gonzalez on top of the two as and Mateo Bemorodi from the right to the left half space consistently trying to receive the ball and then dictate the pace of games now. And of course on the wings now, Barca went into it with Rafinha, Robert Lewandowski, Central, and Abrantia, your friend Femi Lopez leading the lines. In fact, we should give Nibia a lot of credit to Real Sociedad, almost pressing Barca and Casa. They made it very difficult for Barca to play out for the back. They were aggressive doing their faces consistently. Real Sociedad didn't want Barca to recover a lot of the ball. They wanted to force them into making mistakes. They were own turn. Barca held their own. But the biggest talking point is possible offside goal against FC Barcelona. Ball now, what's your picture now? In fact, VAR for a mistake. No more say Robert Lewandowski 9. But then Lewandowski 9. Then Lewandowski 9 car. Then I brought your friend Naif and 9. And an ahead. So it was supposed to be onside. The goal should have stood for Robert Lewandowski, but it didn't. And that's where they are now. So Barca did not get that going. Barca won after the game, of course. Osho beat say Hansi Flick, Osho beat say all the Barca fans now on. Almost every Barca player said, every Barca fan said they have been robbed. And I think that you can agree with them because that definitely wasn't an offside. That ball wasn't offside. Barca had some good chances. I saw they couldn't convert it. Very, very disappointing second half. Apart from Daniel Mono, I think there was absolutely nothing. And for me, like I did say, it was essentially, but they also said that for an impressive Barca here, they were more aggressive on Barca, prevented them from having loads of the ball, prevented them from having proper intentions at them. They stood in front of them. Takufisa Kubo will drop back to come and do a lot of defending. Martin Ibanez will be mending more. Were great without the ball for FC Real Sociedad, and they got the results that they did want to Barca. For they say they have been robbed, but then again, sad one to them. Of course, in the Italian Serie A, big one, Napoli, any team, my friend, Internazionale Milan, Asia, what a game it was. Napoli in their first goal with a goal from my branch friend Scott McTominay, and Inter Milan did return. Inter Milan returning power with a lot of possession in the first half and the second half. Now going into it, knowing that they had to get the results, knowing that they had to make sure say results no more penalty, and then they got the job done. On my ball 1-1, and making sure say they were on top of the Italian Serie A. I mean Napoli on top of the Italian Serie A. It was Antonio Conte, and I all come back to Fiifi, the former home. Or the Giuseppe Meazza, or Internazionale Milan for everybody knows that Antonio Conte or the Giuseppe Meazza, a huge place for him to go, and he went there, played, and then of course he didn't get a maximum results now. But definitely on top of the Italian Serie A, Antonio Conte team Napoli and a dash with 26 points with Atalanta, 25 points Fiorentina, 25 points Inter, 25 points Lazio, 25 points Juventus, 24 points Milan, any Bologna with one outstanding match. Omunina, 18 points thereabouts over there. And of course, over the weekend, 1-1 for Napoli, any Inter match. Amir Ramani was the best player of the match in the first opening minutes, 23rd minutes, and I scored McTominay the first goal, and I went to friend Hakan Klanoglu, a poppy up with a huge equalizer. Of course, 3 at the back versus a new Conte 4 at the back, constantly Interfono trying to hold their own, trying to dictate the pace of the game, trying to play through central areas. But then Inter, what a well-drilled team, Interfono here and getting the results in there. Of course, after the draw, what a game. See, Enra, the first question is that Chelsea for the very first time in 2 years, are in the top 3. I mean, on the surface level, Chelsea 4, people say, wow, that is good compared from last season. Of course, social table now, points number 1. But the truth, the fact also is that Chelsea were top 3. For a lot of Chelsea fans, Omojidi said there was a huge opportunity for Enzo Maresca to take. Now, Maresca has been a little bit defensive since the time of starting to ball Romeo Lavia. Again, the same number of Chelsea fans also do believe that there is the need to get that defensive balance. And you see, Enzo Maresca, yes, Onya, and in a time, the team will grow together, the team will get better. In the context of a game, Chelsea went into the game in a bid to try and win the game. Our game plan on the ball, our game plan off the ball, how they wanted to play without the ball. Same for Arsenal. Like I said, Arsenal for first game plan were to press Chelsea from the back and force Chelsea to make mistakes. With that game plan at Chelsea you see in games now, you need both of the wingers now, so we need ball now to be very, very good. Now, I'm person the picture. This is the timer Chelsea Arsenal for ball or Chelsea for half. Consistently, the Arsenal team is trying to force the issue, and you can see. Say Arsenal for any ball in Chelsea half on, and in an area where Martin Odegaard and Nikita ball, or that area mono. In fact, almost the ball no press it, then they want the ball back again. Now in that area, almost every Chelsea player on the left hand side, the right core, or almost everybody, extra some bit close, Odegaard down. Now look at the fouls. Social foul post because Chelsea have been drawn towards the ball. Chelsea are a little bit constricted, and all of them are holding the line. Apart from Levi Cole or drop it off and play a branch Martinelli onside. Now look at it now. In the far post and in the picture I made sure a branch Noni Madueke casually jogging back. Casually jogging back. Because seriously, say Obo in such a game, in such a high intensity game. One of the things that is important, in fact, one of the reasons why Enzo Maresca said that he likes Obitsenoni Madueke, although on Shea goes and say defensively he gives the team a lot more. This is somewhere around the 68th minute thereabout. That time Arsenal show the ball goes to the left hand side. Almost everybody's trying to win the ball off Martin Odegaard. But at the far post, you can clearly see Sir Brentford friend Malo Gusto has been overloaded. And he's been overloaded because the winger is all back, no defensive job. The winger is not there. Winger, he is casually jogging back to a chair. And of course, Malo Gusto gets overloaded. And Brentford friend Gabriel Martinelli gets through on goal. Now he has to make a decision. Say, Bono, or ball through the first one as a far post. Bad decision for our Brentford friend Robert Sanchez. And yesterday, I saw a lot of people tell me, say, it is high time Chelsea moves on our Brentford friend Robert Sanchez. I mean, I agree largely also. Because also maybe another one in that first pool. There is no excuse for a goalkeeper against your first pool. There is no excuse. Because Borna has stand for Obama and by a ball. Their plan was to sit deep, prevent Chelsea from breaking them down centrally. Intimate, prevent it from breaking me down centrally. That when I get my fewest chances, I want to score. Now in the first half, Gabriel Martinelli had a similar chance. He went to the far post. And then the next one comes. First post, Robert Sanchez isn't in tandem with what was going on over there. But for me, largely this goal was given away by the lackadaisical attitude of our branch friend, Noni Madueke. He could have done better. And from where the in-game analysis and then your before some international break now, Noni Madueke will see that he could have done better. At high performance, a winger cannot be jogging lackadaisically. So you need to come back and help your fullback because you'll be overloaded. I'm overloading this CCA. And Arsenal did the excellent thing. Overloading far post. No, I think it was with Declan Rice, any Gabriel Martinelli, and even look, Bukayo Saka. So knowing that Levi onside, just knowing that Brentford friend Levi call a play on onside. You know? And that's what high performance football does to you. It is very, very important. Sometimes OJ say it's just normal thing, but it's not normal. It's not normal, and for me, our Brentford friend Noni Madueke was not good enough on the day. Some of the things that he did with the ball, some of the things I know person here without the ball, how he wanted to control games, how and that's about what defense, it was not good enough, and he had to do better. He really, really had to do better. I think Zena gave me a very, very competitive. Very competitive. You see, a spell of possession in the beginning of the game with the home side. I said Arsenal for SCT in a 4-4-2 mid block. I can say Arsenal's game plan was essentially to block central areas. And made the picture be chill somewhere in the opening minutes of the game. Initially, Arsenal be passive. But the ball in here do Chelsea DMs one can say don't Lavia. Then they will be aggressive and try to press over there. That's Arsenal's plan. And you could tell say Chelsea will be there from the back. Arsenal will press 1v1 any assignment. But they don't want the ball now to get to Chelsea's DMs. Now, almost every time, Thomas Partey, any branch your friend Declan Rice had a cover shadow on Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto on the right. Rice was there. And then Abrante friend Thomas Partey had a cover shadow on Abrante friend Cole Palmer in there on the left. So consistently, they were trying to cover shadow them. Now, Chelsea will build with a 3 at the back, especially sometimes with the goalkeeper. So they're not trading a Levi Cole, Abrante friend Moises Caicedo, any Marco Correa. Then in right side of them, no, we bring Abrante friend Moises Caicedo, any Romeo Lavin. Arsenal's plan was that block the passing into them. You need to see a cover shadow. Yes, sitting in making sure say Chelsea for the ball, and go drew or midfielders in chain because ball do on chain. Then they can carry the ball and then transit. So Arsenal often engage Chelsea's press in the back line. They often make sure the pivots, any Arsenal DMs, so they prevent Chelsea from having the ball in such zones, which is very, very important. That was Arsenal's game plan, essentially. So almost preventing Chelsea from having the ball in such areas. Now, I think that the joy Chelsea had, any Ejumana Chelsea winning, and they say, how can you make sure so stop Arsenal? Now, who put me both to the first phase, nobody make a Caicedo, say Calavi and Sa. How then do you hit Arsenal? How do you find Kupama in between the lines? How do you do that job? And again, in the second half, Chelsea consistently got a pulling Arsenal DMs apart to find spaces. Similar to the Liverpool game, Jackson had an opportunity to drop deep and he received the ball. In that area, I think that Jackson close control wasn't the best in the right game against Arsenal. It wasn't a good game for him at all. Additionally, Arsenal's DMs look to set up to match Chelsea's DMs. Palmer and Gusto would be free in between the lines and then receive possession. We have to see here consistently, almost every time. Palmer will try and receive the ball between them. But once the ball gets to him, then Thomas Partey will engage and then tries to close in over there. And it's something that they did central times. Chelsea set up in a 3-2 phase of build-up FIFA possession, one pushing very, very high to try to press Arsenal. And Chelsea consistently will beat the Arsenal press, Arsenal Bambe press it. So Arsenal press it there. Then they can play through them. Then they can control the game. Then they can hit Arsenal when the ball gets turned over and then heads them. But I don't think Chelsea did enough in terms of the turnovers. I don't think that Chelsea did enough in terms of seeing turning ball over Chelsea and ball. Yeah, making sure say ball at Chelsea Chelsea control it in certain zones more. And your ball quickly will go in between the lines and then will head them. It's not something that Chelsea did particularly well when they played against Arsenal. And me for one, I think that Chelsea's performance in that regard was not good enough. Maybe good enough, especially when we were playing in transitions. How they were going to hit Arsenal in those transitions that were very, very important. Chelsea did not do good enough in there, and they had to do better. If you look at the game in itself, in the game state, maybe an Arsenal in fact, there were times where in settled play, Chelsea were not able to press and counter press better. And Arsenal got hybrid mid block and low block in the map. So Chelsea lose the ball, they can't press and counter press quickly to win the ball and then pin Arsenal back. That's something that Arsenal failed to do, and Chelsea failed to do all through the game. Now, again, one other thing was that Solberg in the pre-match analysis, I told you about Chelsea for lack of intensity in the press. And boy, in a game like against Arsenal, we are going man for man, but in this, say you're very aggressive. This time, I say Chelsea man for man. Sometimes you need too aggressive. Sometimes they're a little bit passive. Sometimes it's a little bit calm. They try to close things down or set there. They almost go through them and they won't Arsenal for no will not hit them. Now, anytime Chelsea build up from the back, you could tell Arsenal for no coagulating FIFA. One of my FIFA are very, very compact. So one of the things that Chelsea did was that they also had different types of build-ups. They want to call the left-hand side of them because now say 3 now. Abrante friend Marco Correa is part of the build-up. Now Kopama will drop deeper into the left-hand channel to come and receive the ball from there and then try to play for it. Sometimes Marco Correa also take the weight over there and have Kopama in the left half space to try and create opportunities from that area. Every time when Chelsea build up, now a two, then Chelsea they build up deeper. Robert Sanchez and Abrante friend Levi say at Chelsea build up when the goalkeeper there, and Arsenal will come high and press. They won't set off Chelsea. But once the ball goes into Chelsea DMs, they will just drop the line and make sure that they will prevent anybody from hitting them in that regard. And I think that Chelsea had some successes. Some of them too were just Rick's reward. And there was a time when Levi called it Taboni feature on him. He wanted to play forward. Arsenal turned the ball over. Ball could do Bukayo Saka and Abrante friend Levi called a foul and then make Chelsea for making sure that they prevented a goal in that zone. Now, there were only a few times that Chelsea sat in a set goal. Chelsea goal now share. It was a pure mistake from William Saliba. Now, social image them with each other. The ball goes out wide. Saliba follows to go and press. Or follow the marker. Now, because of that, Thomas Partey pinned by Wesley Fofana Abrante friend Gabriel Magalhaes pained by Abrante a friend of Nicholas Jackson. Then there is a gaping hole. Esanga in this Saliba Ibaka, Partey drops into the middle to go and cover in the central area. Now there is a gaping hole over there for them. Pedro Neto realizes it. And of course, Enzo Fernandez take Rex and play the ball through there for him. Smash it at goal and then want a goal in there for him. And I think that tactically, Arsenal game plan on there is simple. Sit off largely. Let Chelsea have the ball. Let them come and break us down. Chelsea have issues breaking us down. But at some point in time, also apply pressure. Don't let them have a lot of comfort on the ball. Me and distraction on press a crack. But when the ball gets, when they have transitioned, they've come to the middle of they've bypassed the press now. Set off. Don't engage too aggressively. Make sure you're back calming down. Me stay in the game as long as possible. And I think that was a very, very good game plan for Mikel Arteta and the boys now. To stay in the game as long as possible. And obviously, the more they stay in the game, the more who concede, the more make mistakes. They will get a goal. When they get a goal, they can hit Chelsea. It was a very, very good game plan for Arsenal. I think that Oshe Saku will pass no boy and say he could find okay now opportunities were on him. But then again, Chelsea doesn't make good use of our opportunity. I mean, 11 games into the season, Chelsea had a third, like I did say. I don't think that anybody expected Chelsea to be in third position after 11 games in the season. But again, I also understand Chelsea fan BOG said Enzo Maresca probably is being too careful. I understand, although I don't agree. I think it's just Rex reward. Although I believe that Enzo Fernandez did very well when he came on. Also without the ball, like people just breeze past him. Not good enough without the ball. The ball is excellent, and I think that Enzo Fernandez needs to build that physicality part of the game. It's something that he needs to work on very well. On building physicality, we need draws for the team because it's very important. If you have Enzo Fernandez doing the job, now you don't even need Malo Gusto inverting. You just keep Malo Gusto at the back to do a defensive work and leave Enzo Fernandez in the half space there. He's better in the half space than Malo Gusto. It's something that Chelsea needs to work on, something that Chelsea needs to do better with respect to what they have to do, and that's from Enzo Fernandez's point of view. Of course, Chelsea are going into the international break with a win, with a draw, 3 points. Third in the English Premier League. Chelsea didn't expect to be here. The kind of football one effort. Given the context of last season, I think Enzo Maresca is doing very well, and they can only get better. There are only a few things to be worried about, and I think that Enzo Maresca's spirit, so he's the man to do that. I'm not worried. I don't think that Chelsea needs to be worried. I think that the team is going in the right direction, and I say will be all Chelsea in their support. 100 Rockets and Snow, this morning edition of Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm here on number 12. We'll bring you the afternoon edition, and then we'll bring you the evening edition of Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Until then, take care, stick and stay. We will see you. Bye-bye.